for a while. I suspect that applies to a lot of those sitting, watching and listening.
Yes, just as well my watch dates back to the 1960s. Here's Actor, and well played by Green, well defended. And the bails have come off, so it will be tea.
Well,
You know the outcome of all those various conversations that were going on between the umpires and the Gloucestershire skipper and whoever else might have been involved. But what a time to come off.
indeed, with Leicestershire needing 22 runs to win, Gloucestershire needing 3 wickets to win. Leicestershire taking tea on 121 for 7. Ben Green is 3 not out. Ben Cox, who may hold the key to the outcome of the game, is 41 not out. Well, it'll give a chance for the likes of Dom Goodman to have a little break as well, and Gloucestershire to decide what strategy they're going to employ. Leicestershire likewise. We will be back with you on BBC Radio's Leicester, Bristol and Gloucestershire, and of course on all the BBC Sport websites, the ECB websites as well, various websites, including of course YouTube as well, courtesy of the excellent Gloucestershire County Cricket Club stream for the conclusion of this game,
if you do want to hear the
quickly
conclusion of the game between Leicestershire and Gloucestershire, you can do so as described on the BBC Sport website and app. What a thriller as well. 22 runs needed, but everyone needs to stop for a cup of tea, of course. And what a thrilling game that is in Division 2. And actually, we're on the cusp of just having one game in action in the County Championship for Monday, and that's going to be at Derbyshire, between Derbyshire and Middlesex, with Middlesex trailing in their first innings by 174 runs, but they are 8 down in response to Derbyshire's 472, 29848 here at the Oval. Well, we've seen a really impressive performance from Surrey, county champions 3 times over. They've got their first win of the season after some frustrating draws, winning by 8 wickets, a target of just 36. Extraordinary afternoon session, which saw wickets tumbling, 5 of them for just 8 runs. It totally transformed the game. And any speculation that we'll be going deep into the final day, well, that's been put paid to with this win for Surrey, who saw 8 wickets for Jordan Clark across the game. No century scored, but a really entertaining few days of cricket. Elsewhere in Division 1, well, Notts have won, beating Sussex by 9 wickets. Haseeb Hamid's having a very good season, just quietly. Ben Duckett back in the side made an unbeaten 59, and Haseeb Hamid 62. That followed Hamid's first innings score of 85. So impressive numbers being put up by Haseeb Hamid. And elsewhere we saw Durham yesterday victorious against Worcestershire. So lots going on across the championship. We're starting to get a little bit of a sense of how the season might be playing out and moving along for the various different sides involved. And if you want to find all the details, BBC Sport website and app, the place to do so. Elsewhere, just to keep you up to date with the women's competition, the Blaze have won by 5 wickets against Durham. Essex need 150 from 20 overs, 6 wickets in hand against Warwickshire. Lancashire need just 46 runs to win, 1 wicket down against Somerset, and Surrey's women need 114 runs, but they're 5 down in pursuit of 260 against Hampshire's women. It is a bumper day here on 5 Sports Extra. Of course, on 5 Live Sport, will Liverpool claim the champions title in the Premier League today? Well, they'll be hoping that they can do so in that game against Tottenham Hotspur. That is over on 5 Live, but what a treat for you now. We can head to Wembley Stadium. It is the second FA Cup semi-final. Nottingham Forest against Manchester City for the right to play Crystal Palace. And let's head and join correspondent John Murray.
Yes, thank you very much, Henry. Welcome everyone inside Wembley Stadium on a glorious spring-like afternoon. The sun is shining, it's warm. We've got a vivid scene to our left. Nottingham Forest supporters here to watch their team playing in an FA Cup semi-final for the first time since 1991. And Manchester City, I have to say, their end is just beginning to fill up. But it's probably only 3/4 full. There are hundreds, probably thousands of empty seats in their half of the stadium. And of course, City have been here so often in recent times. It's an extremely expensive business, as Pep Guardiola was pointing out in advance of this match, and Manchester City and their supporters may well be here for the final as well. But it is very much a contrast, and it is a highly anticipated FA Cup semi-final, this, for the right to play Crystal Palace. And the former Crystal Palace striker Clinton Morrison is sitting right next to me here to find out who it's going to be back at Wembley in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, it's a big game for both teams, and yeah, I'm a bit disappointed with the Man City kind of turnout. Hopefully it does get busier. There's a lot of empty seats in the Man City away end, but you did say ticket prices nowadays are quite expensive as well, John. But you look at the Forest fans, they've turned up in their numbers, and it could play a big part. I think it could play. They will need it. The Forest players will need the fans to be like that 12th man. But it's a great atmosphere.
And actually, what almost underlines that is the City supporters behind the goal to our right have unfurled an enormous flag which has the Wembley arch on it, and it says City are back, meaning they are back at Wembley again. As I say, 28th time that they've been here at the new Wembley, and Nottingham Forest have been here just the once for a championship playoff final.
Yeah, they have, which they managed to win and get promoted. So yeah, it was a big occasion for them. But yeah, Man City have got the experience, but I just feel that Forest just got to play the day, and you know, no nerves, because yesterday we were here and Aston Villa looked nervous.
Well, they've got a flag of their own, a tifo that has been unfurled, and I think that might be an archer, isn't it? I think they're probably playing it to Robin Hood.
Robin
there,
Hood, you're right, yes.
A hooded archer, Robin the hooded man, with his bow and arrow and a red background, and that says the Reds are here. And they are here because the teams are walking out now here at Wembley Stadium. Nottingham Forest to the left of the halfway line as we look, and Manchester City led out by their captain today, Ruben Dias. Kevin De Bruyne's among the substitutes. I'll run you through the teams in a moment or two, but lining up either side of the Emirates FA Cup arch in red and white, with Michael Oliver, the referee, just having a little check to see if all are present and correct, and now they go through the handshake routine. But yes, yesterday was much anticipated, thoroughly enjoyable match. You were here, Clinton. That was quite a day for Crystal Palace.
Yeah, it was a great day for Palace. Like, they were the underdogs coming into it, but I thought that it was the best I've seen them play all season. I think the tactics were spot on, and the tactics will have to be spot on from Nuno if they want to get the win and progress to the final. Yeah,
we are still waiting to see just how Forest line up here, because interestingly, in the warm-up, there weren't too many clues whether this was going to be three central defenders or a back four, and the big news is that Zach Abbott has been selected by Nuno. So he's an 18-year-old. This is his third senior competitive appearance. First time he's played in the FA Cup. Played just once this season, and that was back in August when Forest were knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Newcastle on penalties. And he comes in to start this match because there is no Ola Aina, who is here, but he's obviously not quite fit. Williams is suspended, Yates is suspended as well, incidentally. So the Forest team, Sells in goal, then Abbott, Milenkovic, Murillo and Toffolo, Dominguez and Anderson, Hudson-Odoi, Gibbs-White, Danilo and Wood. So Anthony Elanga also only a substitute. But substitutes could be important today. And the Manchester City team, Ederson is on the bench, so he's available, but Ortega continues in goal. Then Mateus Nunes, Ruben Dias, Josko Gvardiol and Nico O'Reilly. Then in midfield, Kovacic, Lewis and Bernardo Silva. And the front line is Savinho, Marmoush and Jack Grealish getting his chance to start the match in the FA Cup semi-final. So Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan only substitutes, Jeremy Doku a substitute as well. So we will very shortly, Clinton, see how Nottingham Forest are going to line up. And incidentally, on the television screen that we've got here in the commentary box, they have changed the suggested lineup and are now suggesting back four for Forest.
Yeah, I think I might have gone down there and had a word, John. No, I didn't really. We said it, John. I think they could play Zach Abbott there. I'm looking at Forest, I'm thinking, can they go to a free? Then they would have to have Toffolo as a wing-back, Dominguez as a wing-back. I don't think it suits Dominguez, so I think, yeah, young Zach Abbott might just go and play in that right-back spot.
Now, if you happen to have just stumbled across us on Sports Extra, you might want to know that Liverpool-Tottenham is about to kick off over on 5 Live. So both of these matches, which I think is a great shame that matches of this size and meaning are kicking off at the same time. But anyway,
I agree.
Liverpool-Tottenham will be underway very soon over on 5 Live, with Liverpool needing a draw to clinch the title. And here on Sports Extra, it is Nottingham Forest against Manchester City. Manchester City are setting a new FA Cup record in front of our eyes today, Clinton. They are the first club to appear in the semi-finals of the FA Cup for a 7th season in a row. For Forest, they're in the semi-finals for the first time for 34 years. So there's a gulf in experience in terms of the clubs and what they've achieved in recent times, and clearly Manchester City are the favourites here and Nottingham Forest the underdogs. But look what the underdogs did yesterday against fancied Aston Villa. So Forest, red shirts, white shorts and red socks. This is like a home match for them, Clinton. You've said it.
It is like a home match. They're the only fans you can hear at the moment, and they're making it a great atmosphere, and it will help with the players as well. As I said yesterday, Palace fans were fantastic. It helped them.
There's the whistle from Michael Oliver, and the second of the 2025 Emirates FA Cup semi-finals begins with Nottingham Forest kicking off, and immediately here is Gibbs White, and it does look like Abbott is the right back, so back 4 for Forest, Clinton.
Yeah, back 4, but he might not try and get forward as much as Ola Aina. I think they'll want him nice and narrow, closer to Milenkovic. So yeah, he'll want to get a few touches. This must be nervous, the biggest game of his life, John.
Yeah, give us an insight into how he'll be feeling, this teenager coming into an occasion like this in what is only his 3rd senior competitive appearance.
Yeah, he'll be nervous. Of course he will be nervous, and he knows, but you've got experienced players around him that have to help him. He's probably been thinking about it, probably knew he was playing yesterday, he's been thinking about it all night, probably didn't sleep, but yeah, he'll be fine. But he's got to think the manager believes in him to put him in a big game like this, John.
So it is Manchester City who are in possession on the halfway line. City who have quietly put together a decent run of form, more like themselves. 7 matches unbeaten in all competitions, Manchester City. But the last team to beat them was Nottingham Forest. So they have recent experience of feeling good and playing well and winning against the reigning Premier League champions. Callum Hudson-Odoi scoring the only goal when they last met last month. Here's Bernardo Silva in possession for City.
John, you know what I have noticed? Gibbs White is playing from the right, and they are playing the 3 in there, in Anderson, Danilo and Dominguez.
Yeah, so you can understand that as well, although Gibbs White so effective in a central position. But here now is Kovacic. Kovacic on the edge of the area. Marmoush! Right foot shot into the bottom corner. What a finish that is! It's Lewis on the edge of the area, stealing in there. Goodness me, what a finish that is from the youngster. Bottom corner, and Manchester City have a lead in the 2nd minute. Rico Lewis, the rising star, who, let's be honest, has faltered a little this season, but that's a big impact on a big day. Lewis with the goal, City already in front. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 1.
Yeah, you're 100% spot on. He's not had the best of season, but it's a fantastic finish. We thought he was going to start at right back, John. He started in midfield. It's brilliant from Kovacic. Kovacic drives with the ball, plays a little cheeky nutmeg. You can't give Rico Lewis that time and space, because he drills it past the brilliant informed goalkeeper himself, right into the bottom corner. Great start for City.
Rico Lewis, and scoring at the Nottingham Forest end as well, that has been so noisy over the course of the build-up to this semi-final. Well, that's punctured things, and now it's the Manchester City fans. We can hear their voices almost from the first time since we've come into the stadium today.
Yeah, you're right, and now they're getting behind their team, and it's difficult for Forest, because Forest like to play in that low block, John. They're going to have to come out now. This is where the game will open up. It's a perfect start for Man City. Yeah,
I think many of the neutrals will have felt that it was important for Forest to get the first goal, and City, well, we've seen them score early goals here, haven't we, in the past? Remember Gundogan's 14-second goal in the FA Cup final against Manchester United a couple of years ago. and City now have Forest exactly where they will have wanted them in the early stages of an occasion like this. Pep Guardiola stands impassively with his hands behind his back. But City, that was a great finish as well. A low shot from the edge of the area, pinpoint stuff.
Yeah, he just had too much time. You either think he's run off the back of a midfielder, or Camarillo or Milenkovic go and close him down. But once he gets into that position, young Rico Lewis, it's a fantastic finish. Because as I say, Sel's been in great form this season, John.
Well, that's now 4 very good goals that we've seen this weekend in these FA Cup semi-finals.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen a bad goal yet, have we, this weekend?
So City coming forward again, and there's the overlap. Savinho into the area, looking for the cross, but that was blocked away, out of play by Murillo, and it's a throw into Manchester City down the right. Well, right now, Manchester City look as though they're getting this absolutely right. Scored the early goal. That was a lightning break down the right-hand side. Savinho, Murillo had to block that, which he did, and City have got the early spring in their stride and are in possession again with the ball on the halfway line. Gvardiol, here's Jack Grealish, then back to Bernardo Silva. Kovacic, who was involved in the build-up to the goal. Kovacic's ball speared down the right, but Mateus Nunes won't reach that, and it bounces out of play for, it's next to the corner flag. It's a throw-in to Nottingham Forest. So Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 1. Still Liverpool 0, Tottenham 0. In the match being played simultaneously in the Premier League after it finished Bournemouth 1, Manchester United 1 early.
Yeah, they just need to settle down. Nottingham Forest. City have been rampant. They've started off on the front foot, and Forest can't get hold of the ball at the moment. But yeah, probably Nuno's thinking, wow, do I not making a change early doors because you've conceded, but just let's stay in the game and not concede a second.
So a free kick to Forest halfway inside their own half. Long ball downfield with Gibbs White ending up in a heap on the ground, but the ball had sailed over the top, and City have got it back halfway inside their own half. O'Reilly, then Gvardiol, Bernardo Silva playing, in quite a deep line position. Bernardo Silva. And if anything, of that midfield three, it's Lewis who's getting furthest forward, as was illustrated by the fact that he appeared on the edge of the box to score that opening goal. Here's Grealish now. City still inside their own half, and Ruben Diaz is able to tap it back to his left. So Manchester City, the 7 times FA Cup winners, who are looking to reach the final for a 3rd year in a row. They've never done that before, but it has been done in recent times, most recently by Chelsea, who lost all 3 of those finals. As City have it again, and having scored the early goal, this is exactly what they will want to do, just take the sting out of Nottingham Forest and frustrate them.
Yeah, and Forest will, they have a good shape usually. Now they have to come out of their shape, because City will just keep the ball for fun, and that's where City could exploit them and find little gaps and angles where they could cause a lot of problems. So as I say, they just need a foothold of the game at the moment, but I think Kovacic is running the game at the moment, John. Everything's going through him. Yeah,
Kovacic played in the FA Cup final for Chelsea. In fact, if you remember, was sent off in the FA Cup final for Chelsea, which Chelsea fans have never forgotten. Anthony Taylor sent him off in that one. Bernardo Silva back to Diaz, and then Diaz forward to the goal scorer, Rico Lewis. That only his 2nd goal of the season, only the 5th goal that he scored for Manchester City. Here is Gvardiol, the bearded Croatian, forward towards Marmoush, and then Kovacic just rolls it into the path of Ruben Diaz. Forest have barely had a touch of the ball in these opening now 7 minutes of the match, in which City have taken the early lead, as again they go back to the halfway line. This is absolute textbook Manchester City in terms of how Pep Guardiola would want his team to approach any match. Early goal, bags of possession, and now into the penalty area again. The ball comes across. That might have struck an arm. It may well have been Danilo inside the area. Bounces down, cleared away. They're still looking at Michael Oliver. It's out for a throw, and Michael Oliver is obviously talking to the video assistant referee, who's
no
Andy
chance.
Madley.
Absolutely no chance. It doesn't even hit. I think it hits his, like, near where the armpit is. That won't be given, John.
No, well, they've had a look, and yes, play will continue with the throw to Manchester City. A massive white balloon is just bobbing around 3/4 of the way up the lower section of the stand there, in amongst the packed Nottingham Forest supporters. What a day for them. for the Forest fans to come here to Wembley. First time they've played in a semi-final under the arch since the new Wembley was rebuilt. First time in an FA Cup semi-final, but they were here for the win in the playoff final against Huddersfield in 2022, which took them up to the top flight. Been a struggle the last couple of seasons with all sorts of things going on for Forest, but suddenly this season, what a season they've had, and could yet, of course, finish in the Champions League places. They've not played in that competition since it was the European Cup, in fact since they were the holders of it in '81. But City come again, and the ball is played across by Kovacic. What a burst into the box that was from him. Went past two players, possibly three, then looked to lay it square in the penalty area, and Forest were happy and very grateful to hack that away clear for a corner.
Yeah, he's running the show, Kovacic. He tries to play it to Jack Grealish. I don't know why he either doesn't get a shot or plays it to Savinho. He tried the difficult pass, but it's a great little burst away from Kovacic again.
Been a tough start for Forest, this. City are threatening a second goal, and then that would be such an uphill journey as the corner comes in. Sells comes, gets a good punch on that from the corner delivery, which was curled into the back post by Marmoush. City have got it over there on the right-hand side. Savinho, then Mateus Nunes, but that breaks down. And here's a ray of encouragement for Forest. They've finally got the ball inside their own half, which is played back into central defence to the two, Milenkovic and Murillo. And Murillo curls it out towards the left-hand side. That's played up where Danilo gets a touch, but Danilo has the ball taken away from him by Kovacic. Grealish now with a stretch, keeps the ball, gives possession to Marmoush, left corner of the penalty area. Marmoush dummies to cross, plays it back to Grealish, edge of the area, challenges come in, Lewis is there as well, Kovacic too, he turns it back to Marmoush on the left-hand side. Marmoush's shot, that takes a deflection across the area and is headed away by Toffolo, and out for a throw to City down the right.
Yeah, their midfielder's struggling for us. Danilo's got to be quicker there. Hudson-Odoi lays it to him, taking too slow on the ball, but as I said, Kovacic again getting involved and doing ever so well. They've started on the front foot, Man City have, and in particular Kovacic.
Honestly, Clinton, Forest have barely been out of their own half.
They're struggling, John. They can't even string one or two passes together, but that's credit to Man City, who are pressing ever so well.
Yeah, and typically ruthless Manchester City, you know, you can feel it. The players know it. Pep Guardiola knows it. If they are able to get a second goal now when they're on top, that could be it.
Yeah, that could be it, because the way they're playing at the moment, they're relentless, and Pep Guardiola and the City players have been thinking, let's get this next goal, and then it could be game over.
Oliver Glasner said last night, the Crystal Palace head coach, he said he was going to sit on his comfortable sofa and watch this. Well, I hope he's taking notes.
Well, you have to, because they played each other in the league not too long ago, and City dominated them.
Yeah. In the end, although they did cause problems, didn't they?
Yes,
they were 2-0 up, in fact.
Yeah, they were.
Free kick to City on the right. Danilo, it was poor delivery actually from Marmoush, and Danilo with the bleached blonde hair is able to get it away, but in the twinkling of an eye, that comes to absolutely nothing, and City are back in possession again, and Forest have got problems here.
It's twice Danilo's on the ball. You've got to have midfielders that can take the ball when you're under pressure and keep it. Danilo's not started the game good enough at all.
And here's Kovacic, who has been excellent, as Clinton Morrison has said. Now Grealish up towards the edge of the area, to his left. O'Reilly with a cross, comes off Danilo and bounces back to a grateful Sells. And actually what we're seeing here, this is like watching City again in the glory years, yes, which makes it sound as though they were decades ago. By that I'm meaning like last year.
Yeah, you mean this is the City of last year where they're relentless. Yeah.
And this is like watching City when their tails are up and they're full of confidence, and you think that it is only a matter of time before they put their opponents away.
Yeah, that don't help what Sells has just done. Murillo and Milenkovic have to come and try and get the ball, because you're just kicking it back, straight back, and if Wood don't win that first header, City are picking up every second ball at the moment.
Yeah. Interesting team selection by Pep Guardiola today, as it so very often is, as O'Reilly is able to bring the ball forward from the halfway line. And then Marmoush, mainly on the left, Grealish then plays it through as the challenge comes in from Danilo, but it just bounces away from Grealish. There's no appeal from him, even though he went down rather awkwardly, and it is a goal kick to Nottingham Forest. And it is Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 1, and we've played almost quarter of an hour here on BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra. still 0-0 at Anfield. Liverpool 0, Tottenham 0. So that would be enough to confirm Liverpool as champions for 2024-25. And goal kick to Forest that Sells has received back in the mainly lime green, yellowy kit with the orange trim. And now Forest with it on the left-hand side. Chris Wood, I'm not sure I said his name yet, Wood, who is through the middle, the Forest top scorer. Comes back to Danilo, and then Forest go back into their own half.
This is why I don't think what the team Nuno picked was right, because Gibbs White gets the ball there, and he wants runners in behind. You need runners. Alanga's the quickest, one of the quickest in the Premier League. He should have started him, John. Because City have such a high line, and they wouldn't be able to contend with him. Now that could be a change he has to make at half-time.
Forest playing it with, I mean, they're being played around here, but as Clinton said, Gibbs White sort of playing behind and to the right of Wood, and Hudson-Odoi behind and to the left. They just can't get into the game.
No, they can't.
Throw in though for Forest. Maybe there's a possibility here as it's flicked on by Wood. Hudson-Odoi back down to Gibbs White, but that was blocked on the edge of the area. And City will look to break here. Grealish, hair flowing, plays it for Marmoush to chase. Marmoush is being followed by young Abbott, so it's Marmoush against the teenager, cutting in field, then finds the pass to Grealish on the edge of the area. Grealish works it back. Marmoush with the shot, but got right underneath that and sent it flying away by a couple of yards over the angle of post and bar into the Forest fans behind the goal, who I think will be feeling in there, the hordes and hordes of Forest supporters, quite grateful that it's still only 1-0.
Yeah, definitely. It's good play between Marmoush and Grealish, and he goes for too much power. He should be looking to bend that into that far corner. But yeah, the Forest fans will be disappointed with the start, but they'll be happy it's still only 1-0.
So a goal kick as the warm sun comes out again, and it is significantly warmer, or at least it was early in the afternoon. Sure, it still is now. Feel for all of those people doing the London Marathon today.
Oh yeah,
that will have been a real grueling test for them on the streets of the capital. Abbott playing the ball to Hudson-Odoi, who's appeared on the right-hand side. Plays it back towards the centre circle. Danilo puts his foot on the ball, looks to his right, and finds Nicolas Dominguez. And Dominguez back to Danilo, and Manchester City for once out of possession inside their own half. Gibbs White had to jump there and head it infield, but that just gave possession back to Manchester City. And Gvardiol, Forest have got to get out of this period of the match without City having scored a second goal. But here they break now with Matheus Nunes, who scored the winner on Tuesday night against Aston Villa so dramatically late on in the match. He looks for Bernardo Silva behind him, and Forest are now back in position. Kovacic had to be quick there, but he was, to turn it back to Gvardiol, and then O'Reilly. Gvardiol just allows the ball almost to roll to a standstill. Hudson-Odoi closest to him, to the right to Diaz, now controlled out there on the right wing by Matheus Nunes. Goal scorer Lewis gets a touch in there. Kovacic back towards Diaz again, and the same pattern has now emerged again. City in possession, attacking. Grealish to O'Reilly. O'Reilly just drags it back. He's become quite an important component in this side, O'Reilly, over the course of recent weeks. Now Diaz, 30 yards out, takes another touch, then lifts it right-footed all the way across to O'Reilly in the sunshine. O'Reilly brings it down on the Wembley turf, passes it back to Gvardiol. Right-footed pass infield towards Kovacic. Kovacic then through the middle to Lewis again, not far away from where he scored the opening goal. He tried to lay it off, and Forest have got it back, and then they are dispossessed. Anderson was swarmed all over by sky blue shirts, and Manchester City are teasing Forest here. They are playing with them to an extent. Savinho now back to Bernardo Silva. Kovacic comes short, then there's the pass into the penalty area that Murillo is able just to, one touch, whack it out of play for a throw.
Yeah, they can't get near them at the moment, John. Every time Forest get on the ball, you're right, they're swarming around them.
It is 1-1 at Anfield. Solanke gave Tottenham the lead,
wow,
but Diaz has promptly equalised.
Okay.
So that will have, Solanke's goal will have put the cat among the pigeons.
Of course it would have. If it was party time there, it still is now at 1-1.
Yeah, so that, you can hear that right now over on 5 Live. But Manchester City have forced a corner over there on the right-hand side, and City with Ruben Diaz just taking up a position at the back post, and then in comes the ball to the near post, headed away. O'Reilly's in there, then it's cleared away back out towards the far side by Abbott. Bernardo Silva back on the ball, left-footed cross into the penalty area. Sells is able to come and catch that quite comfortably into his midriff, and it remains 1-0 Manchester City.
Yeah, it does. They just don't have enough runners at the moment for us when they're on the ball, and then when they're not on the ball, City are just swarming them, and it's been a brilliant start from Man City and a nervous start from Nottingham Forest.
The last time Nottingham Forest were involved in an FA Cup semi-final back in 1991, that was Brian Clough's team. Those were the days where they were played on neutral grounds as opposed to being here at Wembley Stadium. And Brian Clough's team, I do remember this one very well, won handsomely against West Ham when Tony Gale was sent off in the first half hour of the match, and Forest scored 4 goals in the second half, and romped it to Wembley to play Terry Venables' Tottenham in what was a most eventful cup final. As City come forward now, Savinho is tackled on the edge of the area. It's played away by Murillo to Danilo, and then up towards Gibbs-White. Gibbs-White is challenged by Nunez. The ball runs away from him, and referee Oliver's not interested in giving Forest a free kick there. Any encouragement for the Forest supporters, and that's what they got there, but it was quickly snuffed out.
Yeah, and that's the first time where City were a bit open there, where Gibbs-White was into little pockets, but that's where he wants to play in that number 10 role.
Forest, who it felt that win against Tottenham on Monday night was so important for them, having lost the previous 2 matches before that, and seen their challenge for the top 5 falter, but they've been given a real shock by the way that City have started this. However, Gibbs-White now with the ball in from the right-hand side. That's cleared away. Grealish is being put under pressure. Lost it to Dominguez. Ball through to Anderson. But it looked to me as though he was in an offside position on the edge of the area. In any case, the ball got away from him, and City have got it back. Yeah,
he was offside. I think if that had gone in the back of the net, but that's a bit of confidence and optimism from Forest there. They were higher. I think Wood can be better when the ball's going up to him. He has to be strong and be pivotal for them.
1-0 Manchester City lead. The Rico Lewis goal in the 2nd minute. Diaz gives it to his right to Mateus Nunez, and Bernardo Silva, who has just buzzed around in front of his back 4. Bernardo Silva, in the absence of Kevin De Bruyne. Again, he's another one who's not had the best of seasons, Bernardo Silva, and Guardiol is just happy to turn the ball back to goalkeeper Ortega, who has had next to nothing to do. Ortega played in the final last season when Manchester United won it. As the Forest fans get themselves going again, the red and white scarves are being twirled round and round above the heads of the Forest fans to our left, but City it is still in possession as Lewis gives it back to Mateus Nunez, and then Ruben Diaz will again this is just patient football, giving Forest no encouragement here. As Forest try to press City back, they just turn and go back to goalkeeper Ortega, all in vivid orange, and again the German-born goalkeeper has the ball at his feet. Wood tries to close him down, so Ortega had to hurry there and actually chipped it out of play.
But that's what they need to do. They need to step on. Nuno got to get his team stepped on. Like, this is not Man. They've started like Man City of previous years, but this season it ain't. You got to put them under pressure. Make them make mistakes like that, John.
Yeah, that's Clinton Morrison, FA Cup goal scorer, Republic of Ireland international. You've already been down to see your old teammate Roy Keane, haven't you? Here today?
I have. Yeah, I made him have a little bit of a smile there, so he's happy.
Well, if anyone can, Clinton, anyone can make Roy smile. As Milenkovic and Murillo have the ball at the back. They do say actually he's a bit of a pussycat, don't they?
Yes, and he is like that. Yeah, he's a gentle giant, Roy is. Yeah.
There's Toffolo for Forest. Looks to get the ball back on the left-hand side, but that comes to absolutely nothing for Forest, and City go back to Ortega, who actually goes long. First time long ball downfield. Milenkovic is underneath that to head it forward, and Anderson tries to nod it on. I thought he did get a push in the back, and so does Michael Oliver, and the Forest supporters who are absolutely desperate to cheer anything, cheer that free kick as though it's It's a penalty that's been awarded, but it's a free kick 10 yards inside the City half.
And it's something what they need. Set pieces could be crucial for them, and it just gets them up the pitch a bit. I see Danilo coming over to speak to Nuno because things are not really working for them in midfield, in particular for him at the moment.
So it's a free kick. Free kick for Forest, over towards the left-hand side, 15 yards inside the Manchester City half. The television has just zeroed in on the Nottingham Forest owner, Evangelos Marinakis. Doesn't look best pleased. Free kick into the area. That's headed across by Milenkovic, and the offside flag is up. Whether it was Milenkovic, I'm not sure, probably was. And it's a free kick to Manchester City.
Yeah, it's a good floated ball in from Murillo, and I think Milenkovic, he just goes too early. But as I said, that's where there'll be a threat, because Man City, Nottingham Forest have got bigger bodies.
And Liverpool are now 2-1 up, Clinton. Alexis McAllister has scored.
It's party time at Liverpool then.
Well, and Tottenham, much change today, thinking about the Europa League semi-final on Thursday night. You'd think it would be highly unlikely that Tottenham would turn that around at Anfield, in what you can just imagine what it's like there today. With this scoreline, Forest could yet turn this around, but they've got a lot to do. Manchester City have been so superior. And City with the ball at the back, Mateus Nunes, he might have been fouled. Actually, the ball bounces out of play, and that is given only as a throw-in to Forest, level with the edge of the Manchester City box. Hudson-Odoi is able to find some space, make himself available, and he's got it. It's played in field to Dominguez. He wants it back. Dominguez now on the halfway line, right-footed ball out to the left-hand side. Toffolo takes that down. Hudson-Odoi makes the run, but Bernardo Silva was comfortably there first, and Ruben Dias is able to put his right foot through that and clear it away towards the halfway line. Marginally better from Forest, but they've gone all the way back to goalkeeper Sells. Not a thing he could do about the opening goal with the shot that he made, but Clinton...
But that's poor from Sells. Like, you've got to be a goalkeeper that can use your feet, and you're getting pressed. Milenkovic and Murillo should make angles so he can play out from the back. For how good he's been with his hands, he's got to be better with his feet.
So 1-0 it is to Manchester City. 25 minutes played. Manchester City, as I say, going for a third consecutive FA Cup final. In Pep Guardiola's time, they've won it, I would think you would say, only twice. But most recently in the treble year against Manchester United, the last two seasons, the two all-Manchester FA Cup finals, as O'Reilly plays it forward to Marmoush. I am wondering whether Haaland and Rodri might potentially be available should City get through to the FA Cup final.
They don't need to be available for that one, John. They can rest them.
Said the former Crystal Palace man. Bernardo Silva sprays a pass to the right-hand side, full of confidence. Mateus Nunes, excellent work from him. Deep cross, that's headed away by Abbott on the...
A few goals over the recent few games as well, and he's fair play I like to see youngsters that are progress and get their opportunity, and he grabbed it with both hands.
Yeah, 2 goals in the last 3. Got one of the 5 against Crystal Palace, scored against Everton as well. And that was excellent play, strong midfield. He's a big guy, isn't he? He's got all of the hair as well, which probably makes him look a bit taller than he actually is.
Yeah.
But he actually made his debut here, first competitive appearance, right at the start of the season when Pep Guardiola put him in the team for the Community Shield against Manchester United. And having been involved in the pre-season tour. Here's Kovacic. So 1-0 through the early Rico Lewis goal, the 20-year-old Lewis as he is now, the England player. Bernardo Silva back to Diaz and Gvardiol, and Guardiola. Kanji is on the bench, so he's another one who's come back for Manchester City, come on as a substitute, but they're taking care with him. Kovacic playing it towards Savinho, and now Savinho rolls it. Mateus Nunes on the overlap, in comes the cross, and that's cleared away by Murillo near the corner of his 6-yard area, and might easily actually have set Anderson away. Danilo now in the centre circle, he looks, he finds Gibbs White in the centre circle. Gibbs White's pass, but 2 of them are offside here. Hudson-Odoi doesn't even get there before the flag goes up.
No, he wanted it early, Hudson-Odoi, but Gibbs White I think the pass should have been from Anderson when he did it. Hudson-Odoi makes a good run. But this is what I'm saying, John. The high line City have, if it's Elanga, they're not catching him. He's one of the quickest there is in the Premier League. I'm Nuno, I'm thinking, do I wait till half-time? Maybe, if it possibly stays like this, but I'd be looking to get him on as soon as possible.
Yep. I mean, we will see him at some point.
Yeah, we will see him at some point, but we don't want it to see him when City are 2-0 up.
Don't want it too late.
No, definitely not.
And Forest now, I mean, we've got 15 minutes to go to half-time, but the way that the first half has gone, I would say Forest need to get in at half-time without this getting any worse for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Here's O'Reilly. But City very happy with this. What they want is that second goal. O'Reilly, now Lewis. Lewis to Savinho, edge of the area. Left foot shot from him. Forest had men back. That was blocked and then cleared up in the air by Abbott, middle of the half. Anderson jumps for that. Bounces towards Grealish. Gibbs White got a foot in. O'Reilly as well goes for another one of those turns and keeps the ball, but City with Bernardo Silva running away from Hudson-Odoi. Little Savinho, the Brazilian, who won his first cap for Brazil here against England last season in that March friendly. Savinho receives it again. Little ball at close quarters to Mateus Nunes. And Savinho sees Kovacic, who's available. And then Grealish back towards Kovacic. Forest again just can't get the ball. Can't get the ball back from Manchester City. Their passing is just too slick, too sharp, too good. Grealish to Savinho. Savinho takes on the two Forest players, goes between them. There's a double deflection, but the final touch was off the Manchester City man behind. And Murillo is saying to those Forest fans, we need your noise to help us here.
They do need their noise, but the players have got to give the fans something to shout about at the moment, and they're not doing that. Listen, they stayed in the game. Half an hour gone, they have stayed in the game, but we need more from Forest going forward as an attacking option. City are running the game at the minute.
In the Premiership, a massive win for Gloucester against Exeter by 79 points to 17. And in the County Championship, wins already today for Notts and Surrey. And if you have tuned in for the cricket, by the way, all of the matches, all those County Championship matches, the commentary you'll be able to find via the cricket pages of the BBC Sport website and app. Takes a little bit of navigating around, but once you work it out, it's absolutely brilliant. Any match that you want to, every ball live. Clinton.
Yeah, what I've seen there is Hudson-Odoi is not playing on the left. It's a different formation. He's trying to kind of play up front with Wood. I don't think that works for him. He's better on that wing where he could cause them problems.
Kovacic just shrugs off Hudson-Odoi, gives it to Lewis. Lewis now for Mateus Nunes on the right flank. Bernardo Silva's available. In fact, it's Marmouche who receives the ball from Mateus Nunes. Now back to the Portuguese international. In fact, the two Portuguese internationals together. And then to Marmouche, Mateus Nunes. Savinho gets involved. And there's a rare loose pass there by Mateus Nunes. But never mind, Marmouche was able to step in and make sure that Forest didn't regain possession. And then Wood has to put the tackle in on Bernardo Silva. But Dominguez runs into danger. That bounces off Toffolo. Forest just about keeping possession, and then there's a foul on Anderson centre field. And that just sums it up, really.
You know what it is? Man City are just a bit sharper than Forest at the moment. Forest players look a bit laboured and look like they don't know what's hit them in these first 32 minutes that we've played. So they've got to be a bit better. And listen, if they get in at half-time, it's only 1-0, John. I'm sure Nuno will make a few changes. Maybe not personnel changes, but tweaks in the system.
1-0 it remains. BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra and BBC Sounds. And Forest now, Gibbs White with the pass, but Hudson-Odoi was in an offside position. He centres it. It's deflected across the face of goal, but if it had ended up in the net, we knew it, Clinton, it wouldn't have counted because Hudson-Odoi had strayed offside.
Yeah, he's just going too early, and he don't need to go too early, but you can see the reaction it gives to those fans. If he times his run early, doesn't go too early, he'll have a great opportunity, but Gibbs White can't be moaning at his teammates too much because it doesn't help it, and I've seen him a lot of times doing that so far in the game.
Yeah, and they have switched, but at the moment Hudson-Odoi, as you say, more to the right, but it is, you're absolutely right, you know, they are effectively both up front, Hudson-Odoi and Wood. But Forest, on my piece of paper here, on Forest's half of it, there is absolutely nothing written down in terms of goal-scoring opportunities. However, it is only 1-0, and while it's 1-0, there is hope for Forest. In the Super League, by the way, it finished Hull FC 12, Wigan 36, and also with it being past 5 o'clock, as Forest have to deal with this on the edge of the area, but they do. The Lyon-Arsenal Women's Champions League semi-final second leg is just underway. That's taking place in France, and Lyon have a 2-1 lead from the first leg. Barcelona winning through very well after 4-1 today in the second leg for Barcelona, so Chelsea are out, and Liverpool now 3-1 up on Tottenham at Anfield, with Cody Gakpo scoring the third goal. So 3-1 to Liverpool, and they are on the way to wrapping up the title and taking the Premier League trophy off Manchester City, who are thinking about getting to the FA Cup final here in front of us. Marmouche is tackling back, and then there's a foul on O'Reilly, and City have a free kick in their own left-back position.
I'm not sure about that. The linesman's 2 yards away and doesn't give it. Michael Oliver wants to get involved and he's 10 yards away. I think Gibb White does well to get the ball back. Hudson-Odoi just needs to sharpen up, because I don't think he's natural to play through the middle. I think he wants to play on them wide areas.
1-0 Manchester City. Listen, I've lost count over the years of how football can surprise us and throw up unexpected things. And you and I were here last season, weren't we? And saw one of the most remarkable FA Cup ties I've ever seen, the semi-final between Manchester United and Coventry City. But on the evidence of what we've seen so far, 35 minutes of Manchester City domination, this would be quite the shock, even though it is only 1-0, if Nottingham Forest are able to turn this around. But we will see, won't we?
Yes, we will see.
As it comes back to Diaz, who will just roll it back to Ortega. I think I can be pretty confident to say that Tottenham aren't going to turn things around at Anfield.
No, I think they just want to keep it down, the score down, because that could get out of hand, John.
It could. Manchester United have drawn 1-1 with a late goal against Bournemouth, but of course those two clubs very much focusing on Thursday's matches in the semi-finals in the Europa League. We will have commentary on 5 Live from Bilbao on Thursday night, the first leg. Athletic Bilbao against Manchester United, and Tuesday night 5 Live is the place to listen to Arsenal against Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League. Savinho now with a run into the edge of the penalty area, but Forest had defenders back, were able to block his progress. Comes back for City. Pep Guardiola applauds that quite purposely, applauds Savinho, that encouragement from the great man. Kovacic in the centre circle, passing it to Diaz. Savinho comes short. Now Bernardo Silva has got some space there, tried to lift it forward, that little scoop pass that he loves, Bernardo Silva. Didn't quite come off, and up went his hands onto the top of his head, Bernardo Silva. So he wasn't able to get it quite right. Kovacic in possession. They look like they're enjoying themselves, Manchester City, here after so much torment this season. That almost unbelievable spell when they lost 9 out of 12 matches mid-season, and it seemed all of the wheels had come off. Marmouche back to the halfway line, and of course, you know, I've mentioned his name already, but I think when we talk, as we have been doing, about what might happen next season, you know, were Manchester City to have Rodri back firing on all cylinders, then it is, as they say, a different ball game.
Yeah.
Here's Lewis.
You're right, John, you're spot on. When Rodri's in that team, it improves them 99% for sure.
Savinho back to Mateus Nunes, and then Ruben Diaz across to Gvardiol. They've had no encouragement, really. Forest, every time they've had even barely a sniff, Manchester City have been able to quickly snuff it out. And City are going all the way back to Ortega. Bernardo Silva, I mean, time and time again, he suddenly has appeared in midfield with space around him. You know, probably 10 yards, no one close to him. Kovacic back to Bernardo Silva. It's like a training ground exercise.
Definitely is.
Knocking the ball back, Kovacic and Bernardo Silva together, then Marmouche brings it in field and then curls a pass that was really very close, actually, to setting Mateus Nunes away. Toffolo was just able to step forward and put it out of place on the halfway line.
It is. It's like you have the ball and then it's a defence, attack against defence, and that's what it's been like for Forest in that first half. you've got to go and close the ball down, because you can't let good players like Bernardo Silva, Kovacic, give them that much time and space, because they're running the show at the moment.
City supporters, it's them we can hear now. They've brought some of their orange bananas as well, their inflatable bananas, so we can see them being waved around in the Manchester City section as O'Reilly is running away from Zach Abbott. Finds his teammate, then O'Reilly, who's still in that central area. O'Reilly again beats a couple of men, and that needed a stretch from Abbott to prevent the ball from reaching Grealish, although it has done anyway, Grealish. And then Kovacic across towards Ruben Diaz. Mateus Nunes, so willing to get forward. You know, there are certainly questions about him when it comes to City being put under pressure, playing right back, but he's not had to do that today. He's been coming forward time and time again. Although Anderson's dispossessed him, and then Murillo is there to clear it out of play for a throw into Manchester City, 10 yards inside the Forest half. They continue to lead by 1-0. The Forest fans coming here today with such high hopes. The big day out at Wembley Stadium for the FA Cup semi-final. Forest, who've not won this trophy since 1959, so it's not unlike Aston Villa yesterday, who hadn't won it since 1957. But City have run the show so far against them. Fascinating fact about that cup final, Clinton, do you know this one?
No, tell me.
1959, when Nottingham Forest beat Luton Town at the old Wembley Stadium in front of the Twin Towers. The opening goal was scored by Roy Dwight, as City have the ball with Bernardo Silva. Does that name ring any bells for you?
Roy Dwight.
Roy Dwight.
No.
As Savinho is just able to take the ball on. Oh, lovely footwork from him as the challenge eventually comes in from Danilo, and it's out of play for a throw into Manchester City down the right. So Roy Dwight scored the opening goal in 1959. They went on to win, but later in the match, Roy Dwight broke his leg, and there were no substitutes then, so Forest had to play most of the match with 10 men, but did win it by 2-1. But Roy Dwight was the cousin of who?
Roy Dwight was the cousin of Dwight.
Was the cousin of who?
Is that a trick question?
No.
Is it in the name?
Well, kind of.
No.
Because...
No, I don't know.
Who is Reg Dwight? Do you know who Reg Dwight is?
No,
before he changed his name?
Piano player.
Yeah, he does play the piano. He sings a bit.
He sings a bit. You're going to have to help me here, John.
Sir. Here is...
Sir Elton John.
Correct.
There you go.
Correct.
Sorry, I didn't... Wow, seriously.
Roy Dwight was the cousin of Elton John.
Wow.
As Forest come forward, ball played out towards the left-hand side. Gibbs White and Dominguez is out there getting forward. We've seen next to nothing of that. Gibbs White trying to win it back. City, though, Kovacic almost inevitably is in there, and the ball runs away. Kovacic says to Mateus Nunes, just leave this. Final touch is off Forest, it was, and it's a goal kick to Manchester City. Forest doing their best to try and unsettle Manchester City, but it's not working.
No, it's not working at the moment, and you see Milankovic saying, stay high, we need to go and press them and get in this game and make it a proper semi-final at the moment. Gibbs White's trying his best, needs other players around him to really galvanise and give them a good goal, because at the moment City are dealing with everything Forest are throwing at them, which is not a lot, to be fair, John.
Oh, interesting. Women's Champions League semi-final, Arsenal have taken the lead, so it's Lyon 0, Arsenal 1, so that is now 2-2
on aggregate. Yeah,
2-2 on aggregate.
Arsenal did well in the first leg. I watched it, they did ever so well, so they've got a chance. It was a thriller.
Yes, I listened to it actually. I was on the way to the match that day. Here's Mateus Nunes now for City, looking for their second goal. Ball comes across, but it's cleared away by Abbott. Comes out though to Bernardo Silva. City fans wanted him to have a good goal. He loves a goal at Wembley. Here's Grealish now to Marmoush on the left-hand side. Marmoush changes the ball from foot to foot. And then Abbott in with the challenge on Marmoush, concedes the free kick. Free kick to City over here on the left-hand side.
Yeah, he's done all right, Zach Abbott. They're not really much has gone down his side, but he was just too eager and keen there. As a youngster like that, you see Marmoush doing his dancing feet, you feel like you could have a nibble and try and get the ball.
Yep, so City have got this set piece that Marmoush has come across to take. 7 goals so far for Manchester City, including 4 in his last 7 appearances. Bernardo Silva, almost inevitably, it must be Bernardo Silva and Kovacic who've seen more of the ball than anyone else so far in this match, you would think. So free kick to be delivered in. It's Bernardo Silva, it's left-footed, it's curled high to the back post. He's looking for Guardiol, but Toffolo was able to get the touch on that and deflect it out for a throw to City over on the far side. Forest are just over a minute away from added time at the end of this first half. And I think Nuno, who just walks forward in his tracksuit, just hitches up his trousers, puts his hands in his pockets. You know, these are important moments here for Forest. What they must not do is concede another one at this late stage of the first half. Throw-in is taken for Manchester City. It's deflected out of play, and the assistant there says it's a throw-in to Forest, which has been strongly disputed by Mateus Nunes, but a throw-in to Forest.
Yeah, you're right, John, but what you say, just get to half-time. You haven't played good enough Forest in this first half. City have been excellent. Forest haven't got near them, but yeah, as I said, try to make a few little, even tactical changes if you don't want to bring on substitutions at the moment, but I would definitely be looking to bring on Elanga.
Throw in for Forest up towards the halfway line. We've got the fourth official, Sam Barrett, just wandering forward with the electronic board swinging in his right hand, and then he hoists it up as City go back into their own half towards the edge of their own penalty area. Not been many stoppages in the first half. You wouldn't have thought it would be much more than a minute.
Or a minute, as you said, John.
Let's say 1 minute.
Great guess.
1 minute it is. It's not often I get something right ahead of you, Clinton.
Take it then, take it.
Oh, well, small victories.
Love it.
Marmouche back to Guardiol. Guardiol's pass is headed down and away by Milenkovic, the Serbian international. Milenkovic then gets it back, plays it to Sells. Long ball from him to the halfway line where Wood leans forward and chests it down under pressure from Bernardo Silva. He's now played the ball out towards the left-hand side, and Toffolo, it's actually kept in play, bounced towards the dead ball line, but Mateus Nunes was sharp. He was able to get there, and he passes the ball back to Ortega, who clears to the halfway line. I make it 20 seconds of the first half to play, and then Forest might have time for one attack, maybe. Dominguez, still deep inside his own half, passes it to Anderson, but I think that's going to be it for the first half now. Michael Oliver puts his whistle to his lips, and there it is. 1-0 to Manchester City, and the body language tells you absolutely everything. As the ball ran to Morgan Gibbs-White, the Forest captain there, he hacked the ball up into the air in anger. Danilo, look at him, Clinton, in the centre circle, head down, hands on his hips.
Yeah, he looks
Gibbs-White walks across to Murillo, arms flying around.
Yeah, they're frustrated. Danilo looks like he's played 120 minutes of football. They've had so much running to do in that first half. It's been disappointing from Nottingham Forest and for their fans who have turned up in their droves, but hopefully second half they can come out and put on a better show. But Man City have been first class in that first half, John.
Yeah, and the stars, Bernardo Silva, Kovacic.
Yeah, they're running it. When you let two good players who are technically very good and give that much time and space, then you're always going to get punished. They're the two players you don't want to give that much time and space to, and they are bossing it at the moment.
So the players leaving the field, and really actually, in terms of clear goal-scoring opportunities, City have had so much possession, but haven't created an absolute ton of chances.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You can dominate possession, but you ain't really worked Sells. As I said, the only chance they really did was when they find the back of the net through young Rico Lewis. But other than that, you look at where Sells, he ain't really been worked. They haven't hit the target as much, even though they've been dominant.
So the only goal, the early goal, very well scored by Rico Lewis, edge of the area, low shot into Sells' bottom right corner. So it is not over yet. There is only one goal in it, and there is still plenty for Nottingham Forest to play for. So on Sports Extra, we will be back for the start of the second half, but now we're going to join 5 Live, who should be in the half-time break at Anfield. Let's see if they are. Here they come.
A little bit of space to run into. Wasn't. Make sure you do the right things all the way to the whistle, and they've done just that.
The half-time whistle sounds, and Liverpool are 45 minutes away for confirmation of the news that we all know is going to happen. They are going to win the title because they fell behind to a Solanke header that gave Spurs the lead after 12 minutes. It lasted all of 4 minutes before Diaz, after a VAR check, had equalised. They then had a goal disallowed. McAllister with a fine effort after 24 minutes, and then Gakpo added a third some 10 minutes later. So half-time at Anfield. Liverpool 3,
Tottenham Hotspur 1.
And let's go straight to Wembley Stadium, where the half-time whistle has gone in the FA Cup semi-final. John Southall.
Where, Steve, it is Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 1. A really impressive first half from Man City. They have been so dominant, 76% possession, and that does not lie. But just the one goal inside the first 2 minutes, Rico Lewis given too much time and space in the D, and he finished into the bottom left-hand corner. Mamouche struck one over the bar from 30 yards, and Nico O'Reilly had a shot wide from a similar distance. Forest yet to have a shot. Big job for their manager Nuno at half-time. Forest 0, Manchester City 1.
Thank you very much, John. We'll be back with John Murray and Clinton Morrison at Wembley before second half commentary here at Anfield. Remember, 5 Sports Extra for Nottingham Forest, Manchester City in the FA Cup semi-final here on 5 Live. Liverpool leading Tottenham Hotspur at half-time in a game, remember, which they only need to draw to secure the title, but they are 3-1 up, having gone 1-0 down. Didn't we just say, Pat Nevin, that it isn't always straightforward, albeit it's starting to look it now?
Yeah, I mean, they got the goal down and a question has been asked. That question has been asked a lot of Liverpool this season. They have generally had a very good answer to it, which is go and score more goals, and have done it really well. I mean, on the right-hand side, there was periods of time there, when he fancied it, Salah looked unstoppable there, and of course it led to the opening goal, which kind of opened the floodgates. But I've been so impressed with the work rate, the closing down. It's one of the strange things to say about football. See, when you see a team are horrible to play against, it's one of the biggest compliments you can give them.
Yeah.
It is a big compliment. And you look at McAllister and you look at Gravenberch and you think, oh, they'd be horrible, because they can play, they know how to hold the ball, they're hard, they work hard, they cover constantly. Those two have been staggeringly impressive today as a duo. It's quite often you buy players. I mean, obviously Szoboszlai is great as well, and Gakpo's helping in there when he needs to. But when you've got two players who seem to know each other and work off each other, and will understand each other's game as well as not looking after themselves, that shows wisdom and game knowledge and game management. So I'm impressed with lots and lots of things about Liverpool today, but them two, they've been pretty special.
We're on air until 7 o'clock from here inside Anfield. So after the full-time whistle, assuming Liverpool go on and do it, we'll have lots of time to break it all down, to pay tribute to all of the key players and the manager and all of that kind of thing. But just for now, I do want to pick up again on McAllister, because he can be the feather when he needs to be the feather, and he's the anvil when he needs to be the anvil.
There's just not that many players that have got that, the entirety of it. I mean, I would have to say Declan Rice can do all the things you need to do, and he's probably got certain things that maybe even McAllister hasn't got, the loping stride going forward, maybe a wee bit more dangerous sometimes going that way. But it's to take nothing away from the fact that there's not that many players. A lot of players are very specialist these days. But you almost think, yeah, I'll play you anywhere, mate, you'll be fine. It's one of the great things over the years that Liverpool have had that, when they've had great sides. They've had certain players. I was downstairs with Ronnie Whelan before. He could do that sort of stuff all the time. You'd have certain players where it doesn't matter where you play, but when you play him in his right position, he is very, very special, and he controls games, and he hurts people. Souness back in those days. Well, no, there are a great number of them. I want to mention these names because they were that good that it's good to be mentioned in their company. Yeah. McAllister's there. Absolutely, he's there. Not he will be there. He is there now. And today just underlines it. But if anyone deserved a goal, to be the goal that really turned it today, had to be McAllister, and it was a cracker. And just come back to what I said before the game, you want to be stylish, you want to be a good game, you want to get a game you win, you want to score goals. And if you, the absolute cherry on the top of it is, and some crackers as well.
Yeah.
And you've got that.
It's one of those things here inside Anfield where one absolutely spectacular goal, plenty of good goals, one brilliant one from McAllister. It's the kind of moment that you just know somewhere, someday, some Liverpool fan is going to write a song about it. On the way into Anfield, I could hear the Liverpool supporters singing Divock Origi's song to the tune of Saturday Night by Wakefield. I can't say the second line of that song, but it was about that amazing night here against Barcelona all those years ago. There's a rainbow which is just appearing amidst the water from the sprinklers as it just cascades down onto the turf here at Anfield. glorious first half for Liverpool, leading 3-1, only needing a point. Remember, Chelsea have been knocked out of the Women's Champions League today. They were beaten at Stamford Bridge by Barcelona 4-1 to 8-2 on aggregate. The second semi-final is well underway. Arsenal at Lyon. Last we heard, Arsenal had levelled it up on aggregate. Victoria Polly.
They have indeed. It's Lyon 0, Arsenal 1. Arsenal starting how they meaning to go on, scoring in the first 5 minutes. It was a corner that came in, not dealt with by the Lyon defence, and ended up going in off the Lyon keeper, Christian Endler. And it's very much been a tale of the two goalkeepers, because at the other end, Daphne van Damselaar, returning in goal for Arsenal, came to claim a ball, didn't get there, and Lyon almost equalised through captain Wendy Reynard, but she fired over. It's Lyon 0, Arsenal 1. We're over halfway through the first half. It's 2-2 on aggregate.
Oh, we're at some glorious sporting arenas today. Beautiful day inside Anfield. We're at Wembley Stadium, and it doesn't get much better than the Crucible either, the World Snooker Championship. Jamie Broughton's there.
No, fantastic venue, Stephen. Ronnie O'Sullivan is closing in on a place in the quarter-finals. The 7-time champion leads China's Pang Jung-Chu by 12 frames to 4 after the second session of play in their second-round match. With 13 the target for victory, O'Sullivan knocked in breaks of 79, 80, 105, 135 and 62 this afternoon. Meanwhile, Luca Bracel is also close to booking his place in the last 8. The 2023 champion finished 12-4 up against Ding Junhui. Both of those matches will be played to a finish tomorrow night.
Reminder, it finished Bournemouth 1, Manchester United 1 in the Premier League earlier today. Second half commentary from here at Anfield on 5 Live and from Wembley Stadium on 5 Sports Extra for the FA Cup semi-final. Both come after the news with Dan Maudsley.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Canadian Prime Minister has said a suspect who rammed a car into crowds at a street festival in Vancouver yesterday is believed to have acted alone. 9 people were killed and 20 others injured in what Mark Carney described as an horrific attack 2 days before tomorrow's federal election there. Police don't believe it's terrorism related. Mr. Carney said he was heartbroken.
And to them and to the many others who were injured, to the Filipino-Canadian community, and to everyone in the broader Lower Mainland, Vancouver, I would like to offer my deepest condolences and my wishes for strength and compassion in this tragic time. I know that I join all Canadians in mourning with you. I know that Canadians are united with you.
The Green Party has said interim guidance on single-sex spaces should be withdrawn. The advice by the Equalities Watchdog, which follows the Supreme Court ruling, says trans women shouldn't be allowed to use women's facilities. One of the 2 women seriously injured in a crossbow attack in Otley in West Yorkshire yesterday remains in hospital, while the other has been discharged. Counter-terrorism police are investigating after a crossbow and firearm were recovered at the scene. A suspect is in custody. And President Zelensky says Ukrainian troops are continuing to fight in Russia's Kursk region after officials in Moscow said they'd been forced out. Ukraine captured parts of Kursk in a surprise offensive last year. The top American diplomat, Marco Rubio, has told US television that the 2 sides are closer than ever to a ceasefire deal.
The Champions League on BBC Radio 5 Live.
Here is the final whistle, and Arsenal, in some style, have reached the Champions League semi-finals.
On Tuesday at 8, Arsenal versus PSG.
Kvaratskhelia turns to the penalty area, shoots and scores! Rice, baby!
And hear all the analysis and reaction on the Football Daily podcast.
The Champions League. Listen live. Ask your smart speaker
to play BBC Radio 5 Live.
This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Well, I think we can more or less safely say that Liverpool's Premier League winning party is less than an hour away. How close are we to knowing who's going to be meeting Crystal Palace, though, in the FA Cup final? John Murray.
Well, half-time here at Wembley. It is Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 1. Manchester City scored the early goal. Very good finish from Rico Lewis in the D on the edge of the area. Low shot pass Sells into the bottom corner, and that was only in the 2nd minute, and City then proceeded to absolutely dominate the match without, I should say, coming close to a second goal. There has only been one attempt on target in the match, the Lewis goal, and Nottingham Forest have offered nothing. They've seen so little of the ball, and when they have had it, they've done nothing with it. So, Clinton Morrison, something's got to change from Forest, from Nuno.
It has to change, and I've been screaming for it, and it looks like he might be coming on Alanga. I just look at Man City's high back line. I'm thinking they don't have enough runners who can go in behind. He's one of the quickest in the Premier League. He needed to change it because you were right. They were powder puff. They didn't get in behind Man City at all. And Man City, as you said, dominated possession without actually working cells that much.
And Forest have been neither nothing nor something, have they?
Yeah, it's been half-hearted, hasn't it? You're like, we're there, but we're not really pressing. We're letting Kovacic and Bernardo Silva, who people says legs have gone, dominate. Go move up the field 10 yards further up the field and go and press Man City and go and cause them problems.
But it couldn't be any more obvious that Alanga is coming on for the second half, because he came out to warm up in his match shirt. He's now taken off his tracksuit bottoms. He is ready. He's got his kit on. It's his 23rd birthday today, and he's ready to go.
Yeah, and he's been brilliant this season. And he gives, you ask any defenders, they don't like playing against pace, and he's one of the quickest around. So, yeah, Forest are hoping, and the fans and the players, his teammates, hoping he could get a birthday goal because it'll be fitting for him. I think he's had an outstanding season for them.
Yeah, and my goodness, they do need something, Nottingham Forest, because if it continues as it was in the first half, Manchester City will score a second goal, they'll win this semi-final, and it will be Crystal Palace against Manchester City here in 3 weekends' time. However, at half-time, it is Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 1, so it's not over yet.
John, Clinton, thank you both very much indeed. Second half commentary on 5 Sports Extra. 6:06 starts at 7 o'clock tonight. 08085 909 693. Premier League winner Chris Sutton, big part of the team, of course. Afternoon, Chris.
Hello, Steve. Yeah, not easy winning a Premier League, Steve.
No, well, Liverpool have made it look like that, haven't they?
Yeah, no, they have. I mean, that's the headline of today. It'll be party time. Tottenham will not come back into this game. We can't see it, and they have made it look pretty routine, Steve, haven't they?
Yep.
This season, they've blown everybody away. Arne Slot's first season, and I suppose the question is, celebrate this season. What's been special about it? But can they carry on under Arne Slot and dominate?
Do you think they can?
Oh, it's difficult because we expect Manchester City to respond. I mean, I'm on with Roman Kemp tonight. I know he likes his Arsenal. He's an Arsenal fan, and everybody thought this would be the season for Arsenal, and they've fallen away. But of course, they've got the Champions League, haven't they? Which will, if they win that, all will be forgiven with the Premier League. But the signing of, getting the Salah deal done, Van Dijk deal done, they're in a pretty good place. And Liverpool fans must be absolutely delighted with this season, but also looking forward.
08085 909 693. Cheers, Chris. Have a good one.
Thanks, Steve.
Chris Sutton, Roman Kemp, 6:06, 7 o'clock tonight. We're live from inside Anfield. Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin are here. Liverpool substitutes just warming up beneath us. I have to say, Pat, I've seen quite a lot of Liverpool live lately, and this is the best I can remember them, probably since just before the first.
And there goes 5 Live, fading away into the distance. This is John Murray with Clinton Morrison here at Wembley Stadium on Sports Extra for what is about to be the second half of the Emirates FA Cup semi-final between Nottingham Forest and Manchester City, with City leading by 1-0. But Nottingham Forest have made the change at the start of the second half. Nuno made it abundantly clear he was going to bring Anthony Alanga onto the field. He was warming up in his match shirt. He's on the field. Danilo's off. How much of a difference is that going to make, Clinton?
It should give them a big difference. It goes back to the original shape where Alanga plays from the right, Wood through the middle, and Hudson-Odoi on the left, and Gibbs White can go and play in his preferred position in the number 10 row. I think it's a good substitution to make.
So let's see if it is able to change the course of this semi-final, which, if it carried on anything like the first half, then I think it would have been an inevitability that Manchester City would go on to win it. But it is only 1-0. Second half is underway. Nottingham Forest in the red shirts, white shorts and red socks. Manchester City in their first choice colours as well. The sky blue shirts, white shorts and dark blue socks. And Nottingham Forest playing the ball back to the edge of their area, and indeed all the way back to goalkeeper Sell. So Sell's in goal. Abbott Milankovic, Murillo and Toffolo. Abbott the big call with Aina not fit and Williams suspended for this match. So Zach Abbott, the 18-year-old, playing in only his third senior competitive match. Then Dominguez and Anderson, Gibbs-White, Hudson-Odoi, substitute Alanga as far as come forward. Here's the chance in the middle, and it's Alanga arriving on the edge of the 6-yard box, and he couldn't steer it in. Hudson-Odoi with a delivery, and Alanga arriving, shot wide.
This goes to show me Nuno started with the wrong team in the first half, because you put Hudson-Odoi on the left-hand side where he wants to play, you see them instant impact. It's a great opportunity for Alanga. They should be 1-1. It's a brilliant opportunity, and he just doesn't connect properly, John. I think it hits the hill.
I have to say, chance. I thought that was going in.
I thought it was going in.
Got away from Guardiol. He's in the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's just...
What a chance.
He's just steered it wide.
It's a great chance. He'll be reliving that all night if he doesn't get another opportunity. It's brilliant from Alanga, and it's brilliant from Hudson-Odoi.
And they're simple, isn't it?
Yeah. There you go.
You do what you've been doing all season.
All season.
As Grealish is in an offside position. So yes, as Clinton said, Hudson-Odoi now on the left-hand side, and actually you can see the width as we're looking down from the commentary box now. One of them is hugging the touchline on the left, and Alanga is over there on the right-hand side. Pass it forward, takes a deflection, and suddenly Forest supporters are cheered by what they've seen here. And Lewis, the goal scorer, is able to clear the ball away towards the halfway line. So yes, those two in the wide positions. Alanga is already over there. Look at him, absolutely pleading to be given the ball. He can't wait to get into this match and make up for already missing a big chance. Anderson now, but a high foot, says referee Oliver, and it's a free kick to Manchester City.
Oh, know the game, Michael Oliver. It's not a foul. It's not a foul. We're not in Europe. High feet doesn't... They both put their feet up high. Oh, it so frustrates me, John, but all right, he's made that decision.
Decision made. Free kick Manchester City, who have Ortega in goal. Mateus Nunes, Diaz, Guardiol and O'Reilly. And then Kovacic and Bernardo Silva with Lewis in midfield. And that's worked well for Pep Guardiola. We weren't expecting that midfield. Kevin De Bruyne on the substitutes bench. First time since his announcement that he's going at the end of the season that De Bruyne hasn't been in the team. And then Savinho on the right, Grealish on the left, and Marmouche, well, sometimes on the left actually, but the City lineup. Mateus Nunes has seen lots of the ball. In fact, I think every single City player has seen lots of the ball in this match. With this scoreline, it's going to be Crystal Palace against Manchester City in the FA Cup final for 2025 here at Wembley Stadium in 3 weekends' time. You'll be able to hear that with us on 5 Live. Liverpool on the way to the title right now over on 5 Live. You'll find Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin commentating on that, with Liverpool 3-1 up if you've just switched onto us here on Sports Extra. Here's Guardiola being forced back, and the Forest supporters try to get their team going. In this second half, the two teams are attacking towards the end where their own supporters are. And if you weren't listening in the first half, lots of empty seats in the City section, number of reasons for that. Savinho now, Lewis gives it to Savinho, back to Lewis, right side of the box. Lewis goes for the goal from the angle and Sells blocks it, ends up sprawling on his bottom, blocking it at the near post. Mateus Nunes, left foot, shoots, and Sells dives, saves, then it's driven goalwards. Oh, Kovacic with a shot, did it cross the line? It was deflected. Goalkeeper saved it with his legs. There might have been a handball in there as well. I'm not sure if it did strike the arm of possibly Abbott, whether he knew anything about that.
That's not being given, John. He's turned his back on it, his hands by his side. It does hit his arm, but his arm's not in an unnatural position, young Zach Abbott. If that's given for a penalty, no chance. I can't believe. I'm going to watch it again because it's a good save from Sells, and I feel like it's not given, because his arms are down by his side and he's not even stuck his arms out. I don't understand why the Man City players are going mad about that.
Yeah, I mean, it struck his arm, but Abbott was turning his body, and as he did so, his arm was down behind his back, really, and actually Sells did well to kick it off the goal line and clear it away for a Manchester City corner, which comes in now and is headed in. That's 2-0. It's Guardiola, unstoppable in the 6-yard box, and Manchester City now have a clear lead against Nottingham Forest. They're bound for the final, and front of their fans, all of the City players surround the central defender. Towering header, powerful header, unstoppable. Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 2.
And that's football for you, isn't it, John? You think 2-3 minutes before Forest should be level with a golden opportunity, but you can't. This will frustrate Nuno. It's from a set piece. It's a good ball in from Mamouche. No one goes and marks Guardiola. He just has a free run and no one's marking him. It's a fantastic header. Once he gets up there, it's a brilliant header. He gives Sells no chance, but he'll be disappointed with that defending.
2-0. It's very, very hard to see Nottingham Forest coming back from this. Brilliant defender's header from a set piece, though.
Yeah, he's a threat. Guardiola usually plays on that left-hand side. He scores all kinds of goals, but it's a fantastic header. He wanted to win that, and he was determined to win it.
You're right, Clinton. He's a real goal threat. Actually, whether it's in the air or with his feet. That's 6 now for the season from him after 5 last season. He loves a goal. Talented, still very young player, 23 years old, and he's played so much of his time as the left back at City. As Forest do come forward, and Wood thought there might have been a sniff there after Gibbs-White stretched for it in the area, tried to get a contact for Wood. City put it out of play for a throw-in down the left-hand side, but it's 2-0.
It's a chance, John. He should be going for goal. He's trying to lay that to Chris Wood. I think he just got to swing a foot at it. It's a great ball from Murillo. Brilliant chance for Gibbs-White.
But couldn't direct it on target, and in actual fact couldn't direct it to Wood either. So 2-0 it is, and City having scored early in each half, now in a state of control in this semi-final. Nottingham Forest clearly now will have to commit downfield. Manchester City, they're not going to take any risks. They're going to try and do exactly what they did in the first half, I would imagine, as Lewis carries it to the halfway line and draws the foul, and it's a free kick to City, and you can already see them managing the game.
They are managing, and you know what would be disappointing from Nuno? He thinks, I've made that change, we should be level, and I think it's every manager's pet hate when you concede from a set piece. If they've cut you open like they did for the first goal, sometimes you hold your hand up and say good football, but conceding from a set piece, they'll be really disappointed.
Free kick that City are still waiting to take. Michael Oliver has blown his whistle. I think he's going to blow it again if City don't get it taken, which they do. And Diaz drives it forward, but that's beyond Savinho and will run through to Sells. So Forest would love to be able to play on the counter-attack, to exploit space, but whether they're going to get enough opportunities to do that now, I think is highly debatable. And that, as you said it, Clinton, that chance that they had, start of the second half, Elanga just into the game, shot wide, could easily have shot in. When he arrived, you did feel, didn't you? I did. I thought that was going to be inside the post, not wide of it.
Yeah, it was a great chance. As I said, he'd be reliving that because it's an opportunity that he's probably been scoring all season.
So 2-0 it is. And Rico Lewis is able to keep possession, give it to Savinho, who's now on the move down the right-hand side into the penalty area. Savinho works it across, and Marmouche couldn't direct that goalwards. And then there's a high foot on Gibbs-White on the edge of the area from Grealish, and that is also given as a free kick. But Savinho showing his pace and ability there, and Marmouche was not far away from being able to plant that into the back of the net for number 3.
No, yeah, it was good play from Savinho. They couldn't get back at him. He just shifted it onto his right foot, and you're thinking Marmouche was going to tap it in, but yeah, it was good defending in the end, and it was brave from Morgan Gibbs-White.
Yellow card that for Jack Grealish.
Yeah, high feet. He was a high feet. I was surprised. He probably has to give that because his boot's so raised high and he catches him in the head.
So, letter of the law.
Yeah, that's why.
Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 2. Lewis and Gvardiol, the unlikely goal-scoring pair in this semi-final, as Manchester City now very much have their sights set on a third consecutive FA Cup final. As Matheus Nunes steps in, but the ball is played back to Ortega. Bernardo Silva, crossfield pass from him. O'Reilly wasn't sure what to do with that. I think the flight of the ball rather caught him out. and he wasn't able to control it, bounced out of play for a throw-in to Forest. Well, it's not time to throw caution to the wind yet. They're 2-0 down, still 35 minutes to play. First things first, Forest have got to get one back and then see where that takes them. But they're in a perilous position now in an FA Cup semi-final like this. Forest, who've actually won only one match outright in the FA Cup this season because of the 3 consecutive penalty shootout victories. So the only win that they've had was in the 3rd round against Luton Town. The other matches have all finished level after extra time, and Forest, the only team that's ever won 3 penalty shootouts in the same season in the FA Cup. They take a penalty shootout now in this one for 4 in a row.
Sure, of course they will.
Milenkovic, here's Abbott, he's just able to play it back towards Sells. As you said, strangely, City have really not particularly tested Abbott, but never mind, from their point of view, they've got this 2-0 lead without doing that. As Dominguez just touches it off to Milenkovic, and now here's Murillo, Harry Toffolo, just down in front of us, just in front of where Guardiola and Nuno are standing. And then Forest are forced to give the ball all the way back to Sells. He's had victories over Pep Guardiola, Nuno, during his time in English football management. I remember his very first match, it might have been you and me together, Clinton, watching Tottenham win against Manchester City in Nuno's first competitive match in charge.
I do remember that.
It'd be fair to say that it went downhill for him.
It did go downhill for him. But whatever happens today, they've had an outstanding season. But it'll be just disappointing with the way they performed. In the second half, they've been much better. I think first half, they let themselves down.
Looking back on it now, as I was, to see that Nuno had only 17 matches as the manager of Tottenham, it does make you wonder. As Grealish was challenged from behind by Milenkovic, ended up sprawling on the ground, wanted to take a quick free kick, but Michael Oliver says no, I'm going to make you come back and take that again. Just a little too physical from Milenkovic in the back of Grealish. So a set-piece situation. Nuno cutting quite a frustrated figure down there, tall man, former goalkeeper of course, won the Champions League with Jose Mourinho back in 2004, part of that squad. And since he was at Tottenham, he's been to Saudi Arabia and back, won the league title there before coming back and taking over from Steve Cooper. And the transformation this season is remarkable. It's absolutely restored Nuno's reputation. But 2-0 down here in the FA Cup semi-final. Manchester City attacking towards the end to our right. Bernardo Silva chipping it in, and an attempt on the stretch by Diaz. Didn't actually make contact with it, and it was all the way through for a goal kick. Just over half an hour to play. Manchester City on the way to the FA Cup final, and Liverpool on the way to confirming the Premier League title, leading Tottenham by 3-1 over on 5 Live.
Yeah, it's been it's been a brilliant season for Liverpool, and I know Pep Guardiola said it ain't been a good season, but if Man City could win the FA Cup and finish Champions League, it's been not too bad, but that's because they've set such high standards.
As Elanga is challenged and fouled over on the right-hand side. He does take a quick free kick to Gibbs White. Elanga off and running, hurdles one challenge, still Elanga. Here's the cross, that's headed down and away by Diaz. Deflects back into the penalty area, and Guardiola is able to turn and play it away to the halfway line. Elanga, as well as being the player that he is, as well as it being his birthday today, don't forget that he is a former Manchester United player as well, the Swedish international, playing against Manchester City. Was at United from 12 years old before he left for Nottingham Forest at the start of last season. Here is Hudson-Odoi, who will certainly have ambitions of getting back into the England squad. Anderson now with the pass to the edge of the area, but Gvardiol was up to head that down and away. Mateus Nunes to the halfway line, but Forest back in possession again, but Murillo goes all the way back to Sells again. We are now into the last half hour. 2-0 to Manchester City. Murillo. Dominguez comes short. Then Murillo again. His pass out to the left to Anderson. That's doesn't find Gibbs White. Manchester City not able to take advantage, and actually Kovacic there just feeling the back of his left leg, whether there was a little bit of cramp there. It is really warm, much warmer than it was yesterday afternoon, so I wouldn't be at all surprised if the players do feel this today. And as you know, Clinton, one of our colleagues, Grace, has just arrived back here at Wembley, having been at the London Marathon this afternoon, telling us how many of the runners were really feeling it there as Hudson-Odoi plays it forward, but Wood can't get there. Ortega quickly out of the penalty area, and now Grealish turns on the halfway line, takes it away from Milenkovic, looks to give it to Marmoush, but Abbott quickly puts the tackle in, and it's out of play for a throw to City.
Yeah, he's done well, young Zach Abbott. As I said, I don't think City, most of their attacks have gone down the right-hand side against Toffolo, but yeah, they've not really caused them that much problems on that left-hand side.
So City are back in possession near the halfway line. Bernardo Silva just drifts around Anderson. Marmoush takes possession of it, gives it back to Bernardo Silva. He looks to clip it back with his left foot, and Murillo had to take charge of that and head it behind. With Savinho arriving in there, I thought for a moment they were going to leave it to one another, but he's headed it behind for a corner.
Yeah, he dealt with it, Murillo. I didn't know if he needed to head it out for a corner. Maybe he didn't feel comfortable heading it back into the danger area. So first and foremost, defend your box, and he done that well.
Bernardo Silva gives a little wave as he picks up the ball.
Magician, isn't he? Magician, John.
The City supporters just give him a little reminder down there of what they think of him. Because there's always talk, isn't there, about whether Bernardo Silva's going to leave at the end of the season. It's almost a tradition. Yeah. Bernardo Silva then with the corner for Manchester City to the back post. Murillo got his head to that for Forest. Marmoush is able to catch up with it in the full-back position. Takes on Gibbs-White, plays it back to the edge of the area. Grealish back into Marmoush, angles tight, shoots and sells. Is able to get up, get two gloves to it and push it around the top of the near post for another Manchester City corner.
They're purring at the moment, Man City. Everyone wants Jack Grealish to do it. He plays a great reverse ball to Marmoush, who's been a good signing. It's a good save for themselves at the near post.
Another corner. Marmoush to take this. I mentioned the fact he's got 7 goals for Manchester City this season, with the 20 that he scored for Eintracht Frankfurt in the first half of the season. That is a very, very good season. Corner taken short. Grealish gives it back to Marmoush. Marmoush into the near post. Sells goes down, pushes it away. Still in the box. Forest do clear, and they're able to scrape it away through Dominguez in amongst a crowd of bodies. And they're treading a fine line here. Forest with City attacking in the way that they were there, putting the pressure on from the set pieces. A third goal now and it would absolutely be over.
Yeah, they've got to keep believing Forest. They've still got enough time. They get the next goal in the game, then it give everyone a lift and it give them confidence, but it's just them trying to get on the ball at the moment, John. They're struggling to get hold of the ball, and you know when Man City are in this position, they can keep the ball for fun.
Manchester City got it inside their own half. The outgoing Premier League champions. They were 18 points behind Liverpool this morning, so that today will become 21 points. What a difference that is in a season. The City come forward with Diaz. Now the cross from Mateus Nunes all the way across the penalty area. Reaches Marmoush in the full-back position, running at Abbott. Marmoush then to the edge of the area to Grealish. Grealish trying to work a position. Quick feet from him. Gives it to Marmoush at close quarters. Abbott is able to get a foot on the ball, and it's cleared back out of the penalty area. Kovacic still loses out to that. Alanga's off and running. Alanga now. Sky blue shirts trying to catch him. He passes it forward to Wood. Wood has a look over his shoulder to see where Hudson-Odoi is. Alanga comes across as well. Alanga now, swivel of the hips from him into the area. Crosses left-footed. Then a left-foot shot hits the crossbar. What an effort from Gibbs-White. Cracks the City bar, but bounces away, and the City goal survives. And actually then Gibbs-White commits the foul on Kovacic, and that's a yellow card now in his frustration for the Forest captain. So close to a goal back.
He's unlucky. We've seen some spectacular goals this weekend. I think that might have been one of the best ones because it was a difficult skill to hit that on the volley, but it's brilliant play from Alanga. He just thinks it, and I'm thinking, go on then, Gibbs-White, and the technique's outstanding, and Ortega's, it would have been a brilliant goal, John. The technique's brilliant on his weekend left foot. He's so unlucky.
That might have been the pick of the goals.
That would have been the best one, because that's the hardest technique, that one. Coming across you on your weaker left foot and controlling that into the far corner. He's so unlucky.
It would have been a close call, Esa's goal yesterday.
Yeah.
Versus Gibbs-White there.
It would have been a close one. I just think maybe his, because the technique on the volley always looks lovely on the volley, John.
Yeah. And it remains 2-0 Manchester City, and now the ball being taken through the middle for Forest. Wood, strong. Wood, Bernardo Silva just bounced off him there, and then Hudson-Odoi's ball in is headed down and away by Grealish after Diaz's initial header. But they don't need much encouragement, these thousands and thousands of Nottingham Forest supporters in their Garibaldi red. It's a clear distinction, isn't it? The red in one half of Wembley Stadium as the sun comes brightly out and shines on many of those Forest fans to our left, and sky blue in the other half of Wembley Stadium, although not quite in the same numbers. Forest with Gibbs-White, Anderson near the edge of the area, but City are back in position. Dominguez, then Anderson, little touch from him. Gibbs-White is able to find a pass to Hudson-Odoi, then to Anderson in the area. Anderson's low shot, but he's dragged it well wide. There were City players in between him and the goal, trying to find a way past them, but pulled it wide. And Gibbs-White says, I mean, how fired up does he look? Gibbs-White says to the Forest supporters, come on. And they're giving them a little.
They are giving them a little. It looks like they might be making a double substitution as well, John. Sangari and Owanyi coming on. It might be the last throw of the dice to just go for it, but they've been good in the second half. I'm just disappointed that they didn't start the game like this.
Yeah, Taiwo Awoniyi coming on, the number 9, and Sangare, the Ivory Coast international, will come on into the midfield. And yes, those changes are going to be made now. So these are changes 2 and 3 for Nottingham Forest. And Nuno has just got some more instructions for Sangare, who's missed a big chunk of this season with the injury that he had. He was out with a hamstring injury. So throw into Manchester City. We won't see the changes just yet. It's Marmouche keeps possession for City, then Diaz, Savinho, his pass has given it away. Dominguez out to the left-hand side to Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi goes for the early pass, and then the cross from Toffolo deep into the penalty area, too close to Ortega, who's able to catch it. Wood couldn't get there to put him under pressure, and he's got it safely.
Yeah, but as I said, that's much better. You've got Hudson-Odoi playing in his more natural position. I just feel like first half he gets it horribly wrong. And listen, I know City have scored again in the second half, but Forest have had some big chances to get back on terms in this game and kind of not taking them. That's been the difference in this second half. And
Pep Guardiola's had a look at Nuno about to make those 2 changes, and at 2-0 up in a cup semi-final, he's decided that Ilkay Gundogan is the sort of character and figure that he wants out there to make sure that City see this through. And City with Diaz just plays it back into his own penalty area now. Kovacic on the edge of the box. Dominguez trying to put pressure on City, and Gvardiol's given it away. This could be a chance. Gibbs wide. Oh, he's hit the post. He took it wide, shot across goal. It hit the post, stayed out. Now he struck the frame of the goal twice, the Forest captain, and when that happens, you wouldn't blame Forest for thinking it's not going to be their day. It remains 2-0 to Manchester City.
Yeah, it's not going to be their day. That is a golden opportunity. They give the ball away, Man City, trying to play out from the back. Gibbs White, he looks like he does everything right, John, but the angle's too tight and he hits the post. Nah, I can't see it being their day after that. No way.
Just careless from Gvardiol. Gave the ball away, passed it straight to Gibbs-White, who is very quickly in, but the touch took him wide, and it was a tight angle, and he tried to play it across the goal line and into the far bottom corner instead. Agonisingly for Forest, it struck the post and bounced back out into the penalty area. So still Forest 0, Manchester City 2, and we will now see the changes. And it
surprised that Wood, I would have kept Wood on the pitch. You need to get goal. I know he's been quiet and ineffective, but the top goal scorer.
4-1 to Nottingham Forest, 4-1 to Liverpool now. Salah has got in on the act, and also coming off Elliot Anderson. So Wood and Anderson being replaced by Sangare and Awoniyi, and it is Jack Grealish, who's going to be replaced by Gundogan, and that tells its own story.
Yeah, definitely. It's like what we have, we keep at the moment.
Replaced by number 6, Ibrahim Sangare.
So we have now 20 minutes to play. Morgan Gibbs-White.
Oh, that was the moment, John. Yeah. That was the moment. You know when you get big moment. I know the Ilanga moment was a huge moment, but it's probably anyone on the pitch you wanted for Forest in that opportunity is Gibbs-White.
So 2-0 to Manchester City, and Sells sending this pass forward. Hudson-Odoi is able to chest it and keep it in. No, he didn't, says the assistant, so that's a throw into Manchester City, and Hudson-Odoi has to give the ball back to City so that Mateus Nunes can take this throw. So Gundogan on into the midfield. So Bernardo Silva is going to play a slightly different role, you would think, although there he is, dropping back into defence again. That pass was a little short to Ortega. Gvardiol lifts it forward, and Toffolo allows it to drop over his head, but the offside flag is up against Savinho. Free kick for Nottingham Forest. Sangare, first action from him in the match. Back to Murillo. Long ball over the top, through the middle. So Awani now on the field. Chris Wood, the top scorer, substituted off. Awani, who scored only 2 goals so far this season, but he's had his injuries as well. City with Marmoush now coming forward, and then back it goes for City, all the way back to Kovacic, nearer the halfway line. It's Kovacic's pass that led to the opening goal for Rico Lewis early in the second half. Gvardiol heading in from the corner, but Forest since then have come so close to scoring twice. Here's Savinho moving in from the right-hand side, playing the ball across behind the D. A touch from Marmoush, then Kovacic, and now City. It's laid back to Kovacic. O'Reilly in the area, still O'Reilly. Savinho with a shot that's deflected. O'Reilly was in an offside position. In any case, his shot is blocked behind by Abbott. There's no flag yet.
I don't understand what the linesman's doing, because when it looked like the shot was shot, it looked like O'Reilly's in the offside position and he gets the ball, and I'm watching a replay and he was in an offside position. Keep up with play, linesman.
Unless they're saying that took a deflection, but it did look offside to me.
Yeah, it took a deflection when he had a shot, but I still think he's in an offside position when it comes to him.
So it's a corner to Manchester City. This is the side from which they scored, so let's keep an eye on Gvardiol again. Gvardiol near the penalty spot. The delivery is going to be a right foot corner. Gundogan takes it in, but doesn't beat the man at the near post. Headed away by Dominguez, who follows up and heads it further away, but that is steered nicely by Lewis. Back to Gundogan. Marmoush now. Marmoush will find Gundogan in the box, left corner of the area, back onto his left foot. Marmoush with his wrists strapped, turns onto his left foot now, works it back, and then Gundogan is happy just to take possession and play it back further towards the halfway line. So 4-1 Liverpool lead at Anfield, and I'm sure that that Salah goal will have been rapturously received, and they're down to 10 men as well. In fact, it's now 5-1. Beg your pardon, Udogie own goal makes it 5-1. So Liverpool are doing it in style. So that is over on 5 Live right now, and the Football Daily as well tonight. If you search BBC Sounds for Football Daily, just type that in there, you will find the Premier League review, which will have all of the reaction and the analysis of Liverpool's title win. Here's Savinho attacking the penalty area, and then works the ball right across the 6-yard box. No one's in there in a sky blue shirt. Gundogan is able to take possession and keep the ball in play and give it to Marmoush just outside the box. And I have to say, I think Forest have been affected. You know, you and I said it here in the commentary box when that second shot from Gibbs-White hit the post and comes out. It felt up here that it wasn't going to be their day, as there's balls miscontrolled out of play by Savinho to throw into Nottingham Forest. But I think, you know, that can only have made the Forest players down there feel the same way.
Yeah, you feel deflated. If you get the next goal, then it gives everyone a lift, it gives the fans a lift, and they're just two golden opportunities that they've missed. The Gibbs White volley is unlucky, it's great technique, but the Alanga and the Gibbs White where he hits the post, brilliant opportunities, and you can't afford to miss big chances like that in big football matches.
15 minutes to play, so Forest have got to come up with a couple of goals without reply just to take this to extra time in these warm conditions. Toffolo forward for Alanga. Alanga on the left flank this time, gets the ball in with his right foot, but too close to Ortega, who's able to take that quite comfortably. Ortega, who, if you remember, came into the team at the end of last season when Ederson picked up that injury at Tottenham and played in the FA Cup final with Ederson out injured. Phil Foden now is going to come forward. He's not had too much football recently. Saw him start the Manchester derby. But that for Phil Foden has been his only appearance in the last 5 matches. As City come forward again with Marmoush on the halfway line. Marmoush running at Milenkovic and still going, and then passing it square to Savinho, and Savinho now to Mateus Nunes, who was in an offside position, I thought, but there's no flag yet. I thought Savinho might have gone for goal there, actually, rather than try to play in Mateus Nunes.
I agree with you, because I think Nunes makes a good run and the defender goes with him and it opened up for Savinho. And Doku looks like he's coming on as well. That's all you need, Doku and Foden when you're tired.
Good luck, Forest, with that. And they have to be tired, they have to be feeling this. Although actually, you know, the match on Monday night was Forest's only match in the last 15 days. But these conditions here will sap the legs. We've always said that about Wembley Stadium, haven't we? As Gibbs White hits a long pass downfield for Alanga to chase, and running shoulder to shoulder, down he goes, and that is a free kick to Forest on the right flank, and also it is a yellow card as well for O'Reilly.
Yeah, he's got to be careful now. He's trying to race one of the quickest there is. He did well, but I just felt he leant on him, and as soon as he felt the contact, Alanga was going to go down.
It's getting to that time, isn't it, Clinton?
Yeah, it is getting to that time where Forest need a goal.
If it's going to come,
it has to come now, I'd say.
Might not get too many more chances, and this is a set piece. So the number 9, Awani, keep an eye on him. Murillo is there at the back post as well, and the free kick to be played in by Alanga, whips it into the near post, but headed away for Manchester City, and then Marmoush should be able to clear it away. They do get it away to the halfway line. Abbott passes it forward, but then the returning Milenkovic actually just passes it back into his own half. We're going to see a double change for Forest as well, so when they get a chance, Doku and Foden are going to be on for Manchester City, but also for Nottingham Forest, Jota Silva and Sosa are going to come on. So Jota Silva, the winger, well, both wingers, aren't they? So he's going to go for it as much as he can.
Yeah, definitely. What has he got to lose?
A place in the FA Cup final, that's what he's got to lose. Here is Hudson-Odoi taking the ball down the left, then infield, curling it out to Alanga, bounces up, so it takes him a moment to get that down onto the Wembley turf and cross right-footed towards the back post. Hudson-Odoi with a chance, it's hit the post! It's hit the post again, ball still in play, Hudson-Odoi, then a save from Ortega from a back post header. 3 times now they've struck the frame of the Manchester City goal, and now they break away City. Downfield with Marmoush, running at Milenkovic, trying to take him on, but Milenkovic is able to see the ball back to goalkeeper Sells. Well, how's your luck, Nottingham Forest? The referee's blown his whistle. One of the Forest players is down, but so close again, Forest, and it just won't go into the back of the City net.
It's a great chance. He has to score. I think it's a 1-year it falls to. He's 3-4 yards out and he manages to hit the post. It's a great opportunity. It's brilliant play from Alanga down the right-hand side. And when it drops to a 1-year, oh no, it's a reaction. It literally sticks a foot out and he's unlucky. It's not a golden opportunity. It's half a chance for him, but that's how it's been going for Nottingham Forest at the moment. Then it's a brilliant save from Ortega from Gibbs White's header.
Yeah, Gibbs White with that header that was palmed away. That was sharp goalkeeping from Ortega. So Marmouche is off, Doku is on, Savino replaced by Phil Foden. So Doku obviously will make his way over towards the left-hand side once he comes onto the field. And are we going to see these two Forest changes? Actually, they're waiting to see what the situation is.
But I think he's been cramping for ages, young Zach Abbott. He's probably never played on a pitch as big as this or this atmosphere, and had lots of running to do. So
that was probably a safe bet at the start of the afternoon, wasn't it? So Nuno is just biding his time here, just to see if the teenager is going to be able to come on. And he's got, in the time-honoured style, he's got the two physios are on there, and one of them has got one leg hoisted up, trying to stretch it for him. But that double chance there, the shot from Awani that struck the post, and then the follow-up header from Gibbs White. Gibbs White must be wondering what on earth he's got to do to score today. He got up so well actually with the header, but Ortega was equal to the save.
If you think about the game, John, Forest have had the best chances in the game. City are winning 2-0, but if you think of clear-cut chances, Forest have had the best chances and hit the post and the crossbar 3 times.
So Abbott is being led off the field, and they are going to make the changes actually. So Dominguez off from the midfield. So Jota Silva.
And Abbott's coming off as well.
Yeah. So this is going to be a bit of a reach. It almost looks like Jota Silva's gone to play as the right back.
Yeah, he has.
And Ramon Sosa, the Paraguayan international, the number 24, is playing in a sort of central position behind Awani. Here's Phil Foden into the match, into this semi-final for the first time. Phil Foden. Bernardo Silva now takes it up down the right-hand side. Bernardo Silva, left-footed ball to the edge of the area, only half cleared away. Foden in the box. Foden not scored since January. He had that spell, that little run where he got 6 in 6 matches, and it looked as though he might be coming back to his best, but he's not scored in his last 13 City appearances. Here's Doku now. Doku, who set up the clinching goal in the Premier League against Aston Villa for Mateus Nunes the other night, but here Jota Silva does very well against him, and actually he's got the pace, hasn't he, to play against
He has
Doku.
got the pace, and that's just a nightmare as a defender, but good job Jota Silva's only just come on, because you don't want Doku coming on and running at you when you played for 83 minutes in the heat. But yeah, Jota Silva's just come on and he can match him.
We're in the 84th minute, so City 6 minutes plus added time away from confirming that the 2025 Emirates FA Cup final will be Crystal Palace against Manchester City. A new FA Cup final for us, never seen that one before. Palace's 2 previous FA Cup finals, you don't need me to tell you, Clinton, both against Manchester United. This one looks as though it's going to be against Manchester City. They will be, again, the underdogs. But they did OK as underdogs yesterday. If they play like that in the final against Manchester City...
And if they create chances like Forest have had this afternoon, they will be more clinical, for sure.
Yeah, if you've just switched onto us on Sports Extra, Liverpool are romping it against Tottenham, 5-1 up last we heard, so that is over on 5 Live. But Manchester City, with goals early in each half from Lewis and from Gvardiol, but Forest have come so close. They've struck the frame of the goal 3 times, and it's stayed out on each occasion. Here's Gibbs White. Gibbs White over the top. This is for Sosa. Sosa pulls it across, and the shot from Elanga sliding in is over the top. But I think the offside flag was up, actually. So even if he'd been able to direct it under the bar, it wouldn't have counted. And the crowd is about 10,000 down on yesterday. 72,976 is the official attendance.
And probably I'd say 45 of those are Nottingham Forest fans. I would actually say that. Well, we had 80-something thousand yesterday, didn't we, John?
82.
Yeah, 82
something.
Yeah.
Well, it's been disappointment for Nottingham Forest. Their first appearance in an FA Cup semi-final for 34 years. And they've been beaten by the better team, it would seem. We're into the last 5 minutes now. So it's not over yet, but it's going to be another trip, it would seem, for all of these Manchester City supporters to come to Wembley for a 29th time since the stadium was rebuilt for neutral matches. So that doesn't include the matches against Tottenham when they played here in the Premier League, as O'Reilly was almost got the better of. He's on a yellow card, O'Reilly, so he had to be careful there against Sosa, and then plays the ball into Sosa, and it bounces away behind for a goal kick.
It's a foul, and if he gives a foul he has to book him again and he's sent off. It's a foul, Michael Oliver. You don't want to make the decision. It's a foul.
I think if he hadn't already received a yellow card, he would have been booked for that. By the way, if you are listening, 5 Live will have 606 on the air, and I'm sure that if you've been following this match, Chris Sutton and Roman Kemp it is tonight, would love to hear from you. We'll have the live interviews as well from here at Wembley. They'll appear in 606, and lots of interviews as well, I would have thought, from Anfield too. So if you want to join in on that, 08085 909 693, and that will be over on 5 Live once we've wrapped things up. Indeed, we'll be handing back at the end of this match back across to Anfield. Steve Crossman will be there on 5 Live, and you'll hear all of the title celebrations, which I'm sure are in full swing. I think Manchester City supporters, they'll enjoy this very much. They'll look forward to the prospect of another FA Cup final, as Elanga plays it to Hudson-Odoi. Hudson-Odoi onto his right foot, curls it into the edge of the area, but Diaz was there to head it down, and Kovacic now is able just to carry the ball away from his own penalty area. Gundogan further downfield. Jeremy Doku, the Belgian international, looks as though we're not going to see the other Belgian international, does it, in this match? Getting the day off, Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah. But I think I'll be putting my money on him starting the FA Cup final, don't you? Yes. Oh, given away by Bernardo Silva. He's given it away to Hudson-Odoi. It's 3 against 3. Hudson-Odoi, then to Elanga, who's over here on the left-hand side. Awoni's in the middle, but City have got bodies back. Hudson-Odoi receives it from Elanga. Awoni's waiting in the middle, he wants the ball. Gibbs-White plays it in there from the angle, but cleared away by Gvardiol. Forrest, really, chance like that, you've got to end up with an attempt on goal.
Yeah, definitely. It was a good opportunity, really good opportunity. I just think Hudson-Odoi, Elanga makes a good run and he just picks the wrong pass.
And Nico Gonzalez, just to make absolutely sure, City bringing on the January signing, the former Barcelona youngster Nico Gonzalez, to replace Kovacic, who was excellent in the first half, probably the player of the first half.
Yeah, he ran the show in the first half. Everything went through him. He was good about Man City in that first half.
So a cheer from the Manchester City supporters. I would imagine for those going back to Manchester, it'll be a relief, A, that they've won the match, that they've got the FA Cup final to look forward to, and that it's not extra time and penalties, because I imagine that would have potentially caused chaos to travel plans for many. Here's Ortega in the D, long and right-footed forward from him. Foden beaten in the air by Toffolo, and then Mateus Nunes volleys it forward, but then the flag rather blatantly comes up, so it's a free kick. And we've got 1 minute to play. And Manchester City, FA Cup winners in 2023, FA Cup runners-up in 2024, they'll have a chance to win it for the 3rd time under Pep Guardiola. And you know what his career record is? I see actually that Kovacic has been given the Player of the Match award for his excellent first half performance. He's been in 20 cup finals as a manager, Pep Guardiola. As Forrest come forward, Gibbs-White can't get there, it's slid away back to Mateus Nunes. And then long and right-footed towards the halfway line. Nottingham Forest head it back. Toffolo being put under pressure by Foden. Forward from him. But Lewis is able to pass it forward, looking for the run of Doku, but it's played back by Jota Silva all the way back to goalkeeper Sells. So he's been in 20 cup finals, Clinton. How many do you think he's lost as a manager?
Who, Pep?
So 20 cup finals he's been in.
Two.
It's 3.
I knew it. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Of course, he's usually had the best team.
Yeah, of course he has.
You need to make that very clear. We've got 4 minutes of added time. But the 3 that he's lost last year against Eric Ten Hag here in the FA Cup, final. Before that, the Champions League final against Thomas Tuchel.
Chelsea. That was his own fault because he changed it.
He got himself to blame for that.
Exactly.
And then back in his Barcelona days, he lost a Copa del Rey final to Jose Mourinho and his Real Madrid team at the time. So Oliver Glasner will be looking to add his name to that list.
And I hope he does. I'm not biased or anything, but
former Crystal Palace man, Clinton,
exactly.
close to your heart.
Exactly, I've got to cheer them on.
Another one forward, Awani chasing this one, but he won't get there, and Ortega's able to pick that up. And I think some Forest fans now, with the City fans just down to our right, doing the Poznan, where they stand up, turn away from the action, and bounce up and down. I'm told that Liam Gallagher is here today.
Yeah,
remember when Noel Gallagher wasn't terribly interested in joining in with the Poznan?
Yeah.
Do you remember that? In the second minute of added time. But I think Liam is joining in. In fact, those are the pictures in the box.
Pictures, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So he's doing what his brother didn't. But they're all friends again now, aren't they?
Yes, they are friends again.
Yeah. So, second minute of added time. Free kick for Forest just in front of where Nuno is standing. Long and forward it goes from Murillo. He's put his foot behind that, headed back across the penalty area, and then nodded out for what is a Forest corner. I think this is their first corner. I think I'm right in saying. Going to check that.
I think you could be right, John.
In added time.
I've had a few free kicks, but no corners. You're right.
So it's a corner for Forest from the right. It's probably going to be too little, too late. Elanga takes the corner, it's headed goalwards, double deflection, that takes it wide. It's a second corner for Nottingham Forest. You can tell the end of the match is coming. I see our friend Michael Brown is just heading down to the pitch to our left, down the steps, to do his bit for Manchester City TV.
Loves it, doesn't he?
Yes, just hope he behaves himself.
Exactly.
Elanga then with this corner for Forest, it's gone all the way out to the edge of the area. Hudson-Odoi is able to take it down, lots of bodies in the box. Hudson-Odoi tries to curl it in, which he does, to the back post, headed up and away for City, then bounces down. Milenkovic got to that for Forest, but he was on the twist. And Ortega has overarmed it out to Doku, and Doku is sprinting away with the ball. Red shirts trying to get back for Forest, and Doku goes between two of them and is upended. And that's a yellow card for the challenge by, I think it was Jota Silva who was there, and it's a free kick to Manchester City.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you're winning a football match, it's the one player who can come on and take you up the pitch and win free kicks like that. And it's brilliant. That's what your defenders want to see when you're into like 2 minutes of added on time.
City are nearly there. The goals from Rico Lewis and Josko Gvardiol. We're in the final minute of added time here at Wembley Stadium. Crystal Palace now. Oliver Glasner can begin to make his preparations and thoughts. Manchester City against Crystal Palace. They played each other just a couple of weeks ago when Palace made a wonderful start but ended up losing 5-2. But he'll have a plan, Oliver Glasner, if yesterday's anything to go by. So now it's the City fans who are on their feet. Only seconds left of this FA Cup semi-final. Forest's run is about to be ended here. City take the throw, and there is the final whistle. And we have a Crystal Palace Manchester City FA Cup final in 2025. Manchester City worthy winners here, although Forest will look to the chances they had. 3 times they struck the frame of the Manchester City goal. The ball wouldn't go in, and Manchester City have prevailed.
No, they haven't. City have been with a better team, but Forest will be disappointed because second half I thought they had a right goal. Their fans can be proud of them in the second half, not the first half. Don't think they turned up. I think the occasion maybe got to some of the players, but I thought second half, when he brought on Elanga, they were a different team. And you know, it's always moments in football matches, John. I think like Forest missed some golden opportunities, and City were ruthless with the chances they had. But rethinking of how the game went, Forest created more chances.
Manchester City can celebrate now. Pep Guardiola walks out there and claps and waves towards the City fans. This is the first time Manchester City have reached 3 consecutive FA Cup finals. Winners and losers in the last couple of years against Manchester United. So Crystal Palace next.
Yeah, big game for Palace. And as I said, I think if Palace create the chances for us today, they can cause problems and they could be more clinical. So it would be a brilliant FA Cup final. But Forest still got a lot to play for this season, could finish in the Champions League, and I think it's been a fantastic season no matter what's happened today for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, the target is now very clear for Nuno and his team, who've been one of the teams of the season. FA Cup's gone now, but they are still very much in the running to finish in the top 5 and qualify for the Champions League. They've got Brentford at home on Thursday. That's their match in hand. And remember, they are only 1 point behind Manchester City in the league table. So Forest, if they're able to win that on Thursday, they're back right up there.
And you know what they're like at home. So listen, Nuno will let them have a bit of a break and get them back on that training ground to prepare for that big game. But listen, they didn't let themselves down today. They gave it a right go in the second half. And on another day, could have scored a lot more. Didn't score, but could have scored goals in that second half, sorry.
OK, Clinton Morrison, thank you very much, as ever, for your company. We will see you very soon, I am sure. And in a moment, I suspect you and I will be back together on 5 Live talking about this match with Steve Crossman. So that is where, right now, you will hear the Liverpool title celebrations after their whopping win today at Anfield against Tottenham. But as you leave us here, this is the sound of Nottingham Forest fans